In July 1976, a small fishing boat named Sister 2 set out from Key West, Florida. The boat was captained by 35-year-old John Calloway, accompanied by his 22-year-old nephew, Mark Spencer. The two had planned a simple fishing trip, hoping for a relaxing day on the water. The weather was perfect: clear skies, calm waters, and a gentle breeze. As they ventured 30 miles offshore, everything seemed to be going as planned. They cast their lines and waited, unaware that their day was about to take a drastic turn. After a few hours of fishing, the sky began to darken. What had been a bright sunny day quickly turned ominous. Heavy gray clouds rolled in, and the wind picked up. The men had not checked the weather forecast and had no idea that a tropical storm was forming nearby. Suddenly, powerful waves began crashing against the small boat. John and Mark struggled to control the vessel, but the storm's fury was relentless. Then, the worst happened. A monstrous wave towering above them crashed directly onto the boat, flipping it over. Thrown into the raging sea, John and Mark surfaced, gasping for air. Their boat was gone, swallowed by the ocean. They were now at the mercy of the sea, alone and stranded, with no land in sight. As the storm raged on, John and Mark clung to each other, trying to stay afloat. The cold water sapped their strength, and the relentless waves made it impossible to rest. The darkness of the night swallowed them, and with no visible landmarks, their sense of direction was lost. Mark, shivering and exhausted, whispered, "Uncle John, do you think we'll make it?" John, though just as terrified, knew he had to stay strong. "Yes, we will survive. We just have to keep going." But as the hours dragged on, hope began to fade. The next morning, the storm had passed, but their nightmare was far from over. Dehydrated, exhausted, and drifting aimlessly, they soon noticed something terrifying: a dorsal fin cutting through the water. Sharks. At first, they circled from a distance, but as the hours passed, the predators drew closer. One particularly large shark nudged Mark's leg, testing him. "Don't panic. Stay still," John instructed in a hushed tone, but panic was exactly what Mark felt. His breathing became rapid as the shadows of multiple sharks loomed beneath them. They were being hunted. John, thinking fast, splashed water aggressively and made loud noises to try and intimidate the predators. Surprisingly, it worked for now. The sharks, uninterested in struggling prey, slowly drifted away. But the danger was not over. They were still stranded, with no help in sight. Day turned into night once more. Mark was slipping in and out of consciousness from exhaustion and dehydration. John, though equally drained, forced himself to stay awake, keeping watch for any sign of rescue. As the sun rose on the fourth day, John's hope was hanging by a thread. Then, in the distance, a boat. It was small, and it was moving away. If they didn't act fast, it would disappear, and they would be lost forever. John made a decision. Gathering the last of his strength, he took a deep breath and dived beneath the waves, swimming toward the boat with everything he had left. His muscles burned, his lungs screamed for air, but he refused to stop. Just as the boat was about to vanish from sight, he managed to lift his head above water and scream, "Help!" A miracle happened. A crew member on the boat spotted him. Within minutes, the boat turned around, pulling both John and Mark aboard. They were barely conscious, severely dehydrated, and suffering from hypothermia, but they were alive. John and Mark were rushed to the hospital, where they made a full recovery. Their story spread across Florida, a testament to human resilience and the will to survive. John later became a marine safety instructor, teaching others how to survive at sea. Mark, forever changed by the ordeal, dedicated his life to helping rescue efforts for lost sailors. Looking back, Mark often said, "We weren't abandoned by the ocean. We were waiting for our miracle."